Brother Regent. Robert Durham, Mu 1650, University of Georgia, Beta Theta 2804, Auburn University. Brothers, before we begin today's, the final session of the Hall of Fame report, I just want to reflect back on yesterday, the reports that Charlie gave and that I gave yesterday. We didn't do all that work ourselves. We had some great input from brothers from around the country. And also, I don't know if he's in the room right now, but our staff member, Todd Denson, those photos, especially those photos of Hubert Zemke, basically his mugshot from the POW camp in Europe. Todd went the extra mile and found those photos and were able to share those with us. So just really want to thank Todd for his work in helping us be able to produce that. So thank you, Todd. Also, we've been approached by a lot of you who have shared the names and exploits and accomplishments of many of the brothers from your chapters for consideration for the Hall of Fame, and we value that. That's how we get a lot of our information about brothers who have accomplished much, but try to stay under the radar. And we've heard some great stories there, and know that we do consider all those, but do continue to send those in to us for our further consideration, because we do have a pipeline. As Charlie, like I said yesterday, I've been doing this since 2014, Charlie since 16, but we have a great pipeline of brothers built up for this, so continue to send those in to us. So I come to you this morning to give the final Hall of Fame report of the 70th Grand Chapter. The brother we're going to induct today is here with us, which is added plus. Brother Carl Thoma of Chicago, Illinois, earned his bachelor's degree in agricultural economics in 1970 from Oklahoma State University. He received a master's degree in business administration from Stanford's Graduate School of Business in 1973. So you might say, okay, he's got a degree in agricultural economics. He's done well. He's been a great contributor to the field of agriculture. Well, it kind of changes from there, so we'll just follow along. As a student, Carl joined the Epsilon chapter at Oklahoma State University in 1967, along with other notable Sigma Nu brothers and Sigma Nu Hall of Fame members, Don Humphreys, former executive at ExxonMobil, and Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn. Brother Thoma represented the College of Agricultural Sciences on the Student Senate, was president of the Blue Key Honor Society, named a Who's Who, and more importantly than all that, he served as lieutenant commander of the Epsilon chapter. Carl began his career in private equity with the First National Bank of Chicago. In 1980, he founded Thoma Bravo LLC, which has invested more than $4 billion in growing companies over the past 35 years. Fortune magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and Business Week have cited Carl for his investment leadership. Living in that world personally, I can tell you that this name is it's a household, everyday name. He's most noted for his success in PageNet, where his firm made more than 100 times its investment and secured numerous cellular licenses that are now a critical part of AT&T's cellular network. Carl served as chairman of the National Venture Capital Association and the Illinois Venture Capital Association, on the boards of COPIA, the American Center for Wine, Food, and the Arts, Northwestern Evanston Hospital, and the Illinois Institute of Technology. Carl is actively involved on the advisory council of the Stanford Graduate School of Business and the Illinois and National Venture Capital Associations. He was inducted into the Chicago Area Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame in 1998. He was named by the Illinois Venture Capital Association as the first recipient of the Stanley C. Golder Award as the leading venture capitalist in Illinois. And if you know anything about venture capital and private equity, Illinois, Chicago is where it happens. Carl also remains involved with Oklahoma State University, serving on the Riata Center for Entrepreneurship Advisory Board, has previously served the Oklahoma Higher Education Regents Committee for the evaluation of state colleges. The Spear School of Business, named after another Sigma Nu brother and Hall of Fame member, inducted him into its Hall of Fame in 1996. 2002, he received the Oklahoma State University Distinguished Alumni Award. Carl and his wife, Marilyn, were inducted into the Oklahoma State University Hall of Fame in 2010 and the OSU Greek Hall of Fame in 2020. Brother Thoma is currently on the boards of the McKnight Center for the Performing Arts, New Mexico School for the Arts, the Phoenix Art Museum, and SITE Santa Fe. Carl and Marilyn have been supporters of the arts for many years. They have a world-class collection, which they share with the public. Together, he and Marilyn run the Carl and Marilyn Thoma Foundation, grant-making organization dedicated to sharing its collection and supporting museums, projects, and individuals pursuing innovative ideas in the visual arts. All this I've told you is a great life, a life well lived, full of accomplishments. The thing that stands out to me about Carl Thoma is in 2010, fall of 2010, when I was regent, the High Council bestowed upon the longtime Epsilon advisor, Tom Mason, the Regent's Medallion of Merit Award. And we gave that award to Tom at the OSU Kansas State game. Correct. In Stillwater. And the house that many people have visited, the old house there. You could not have squeezed another person into that room, in that house, that day of that presentation for Tom Mason, their longtime advisor. Everybody who's anybody from the Epsilon chapter was there that day. When I say it was crowded, I was giving this award to Tom Mason. I was standing on the front row. These guys were here, Charlie was there, and it was so packed that they were like coming up to me. They were like from me to Charlie. We were like that to the crowd giving this thing out. And on that front row was Carl Thoma, because it meant that much to him. Tom Mason, his leadership, and the Epsilon chapter meant so much to Carl that for all these things he's done and all he's accomplished and all these other places he could have been that day, he was in Stillwater, Oklahoma, that presentation. So, brothers, great pleasure. I now introduce you to Sigma Nu's newest Hall of Fame member, Brother Carl Thoma, Epsilon 1069, Oklahoma State University.
Thank you very much for this award. I'm very humbled by it. It's many of you that do know me know I'm not much of a public speaker, so I kind of got bailed out of a long speech this morning because right after my remarks, we're going to have a panel session with everything I would have said in my speech will be said then, so I won't have to say it twice. But one thing I might touch on, because I don't think a lot of people truly understand what private equity does and why Sigma Nu and private equity have led to a very fortunate and rich life for myself and my wife and family. But the way we practice private equity, which has allowed us to actually have $134 billion under management, not $4 billion, and we've now got offices in 6 cities around the world. But our whole firm is built around the premise of what makes Sigma Nu what it is. So I started practicing my trade when I was, selected by Burns and others to join Sigma Nu, because what's made us successful in private equity is what's made Sigma Nu successful. And it starts with getting the right people on the team. Our firm, since it started in 1980, we've always hired right out of college or MBAs. We believe in training and embedding our own culture, much like Sigma Nus do. And then we try to learn from everything we learned as a Sigma Nu around integrity, in trust, in honor and love, because if you think about the business of private equity, it's kind of bizarre that we can accomplish this, and there's other very successful firms, is we convince individuals, in institutions, endowments, Oklahoma State, probably half the colleges in this room we're managing some of their money. And then they give it to us for 12 years and have no say over it. And then it's our obligation to invest it ethically and build companies and then return the profits back to them. And we've been doing this for 40 years, and we always like to brag about how much money we have under management, but money under management is all a function of the rate of return you give your investors. And so in that sense, we excel as one of the better firms in that business, is actually outperforming Warren Buffett's performance by quite a bit. But it all really comes back to what makes Sigma Nu great, is we're excelling with honor. We believe in transparency. We believe in people. You've got to treat people with respect, because our job is to build companies. Whether it's Federal Express was one of the first companies I invested in the 70s. It's whether building a lot in paging. We've done now where firm is focused pretty much on software, the internet security. In that sense, all of our revenues across all of our portfolio companies are one of the 10 largest software companies in the U.S. Sadly, we're getting such market share in internet security where the government's kind of telling us we got to quit buying so much. So I guess that's a compliment, at least. But I really do just want to thank everybody here for everything you do, because you really are producing some great leaders. And believe me, everything you do every day can make you a very successful person, whether it's a doctor or teacher or investor or business person. So thank you very much.